everybody. I want to show you how the organ works, how you play it, and then I want to take you inside and show you the inside of how it works and what needs to be fixed and everything. So welcome to the pipe organ here at North Parish. As you can see, there's two keyboards. This is called the swell and this is called the manual. And this is sort of like a primitive synthesizer or a keyboard you might find today. On the top, I have to assign an instrument to it. Let's pick the orchestral flute. And then you can hear it. And then I have a pedal down below where I can turn it to make it louder or softer. And I'll show you how that works inside. It's actually opening up these little doors inside. That's up here. And then for the bottom keyboard, we have to call the grate, and I have to assign an instrument to that. Let's pick the cornupia, an antique trumpet type of sound, a brass instrument. And of course there's a third keyboard down below, and that's for the pedals. And we can assign this keyboard some instruments as well. There's 4 different sounds on this organ. The dolce fluto, 8-foot pipes, the gross flute, the lieblich bordon, 16-foot, and then the sub bass, 16-foot. And we can put them all together and combine, make different combinations. So when you're choosing to play a song, when you decide to play a song on the organ, you're going to choose 3 different keyboard sounds. And maybe let's see, I'm going to try the oboe for the top. And I think I'll pick some flutes for the second keyboard. And then maybe the sub bass and gross flute for the pedals. And so now I put them all together. Then up here we have these are called the drawers, and I actually can take this whole top keyboard and add a 4-foot pipe octave to it, or 16-foot pipe below. So now by playing one key, I'm actually really playing 3. You hear 3 different ones. So if I'm in the middle of a song and I need a little more on the melody, I can add that. The two pedals here I use for my right foot. One is the volume for the swell, like I said before, the doors are opening. And this one over here is the crescendo pedal. And you'll see a little green light come on, and what it does is it just sort of like adds all the pipes in the whole organ. So I can play one chord, soft and sweet oboe sounds here, flutes, and then listen to what happens. Just by adding more and more pipes. And Glenn's here, and he's helping me tonight. So Glenn, we're going to take him inside the organ. You ready? It's going to be a little adventure. So while we're on our way in, I'll just show you inside the cabinet here. If you take a look at this 1928 electronics, essentially. You can see these all these electronic hoses and pipes, and don't ask me what any of them do, but I suppose it's a modern, an ancient computer in a way of just deciding. This is called an electropneumatic organ. There's 2 different kinds. One is called a tracker, and one's an electropneumatic. So this actually works with electricity decides where the air is put and which pipe sounds when. So as we're going to come over around here, everyone sees these pipes from the outside, and that's all you see. But there's a lot that goes on behind it. There's actually some of these pipes are actually used to make sound, and some of them are just a facade. So let's take a look inside here. Welcome inside the organ. Take a look around. If you can squeeze through the small door, then you're welcome inside. And just look around. This is only 1/3 of the organ in this room. So there's like 3 rooms to this organ. And these boxes are all pipes, and if you read it, it says pedal, sub bass, 16 foot, D. That's the pitch. So when I play the D on the pedals and I pull out the sub bass stop, this pipe will sound. If I play the C, this pipe will sound. So it doesn't look like a pipe because it's square and it's made of wood, but the wood helps give it the tone, as opposed to some of the metal pipes you can see over here, all different sizes. They would have a more metallic sound to them, like opposed to a clarinet. And if you take a look at the size, obviously the smaller pipes are for the high notes, like a piccolo or flute, and the larger pipes are for the very low sounds. And look at the size of some of these big pipes. 16 feet tall, 8 feet tall, 4 feet tall, 2 feet tall. While you're over here looking, let me point out another thing. You see there's little curls of metal that are wound down on all of these pipes, and that is actually used to tune the pipes. So if the pitch here is a little flat, means it's a little too low, we have to raise it up. So they actually have to bend that metal back, and then if it's too sharp, you have to bend the metal down. And over the years and years of being tuned, that is going to wear out. So one of the things that needs to be replaced on that is they actually want to put in slides, tuning slides, and that will be able to raise and lower, make it much better, and the metal won't wear out. What's going to happen is one of those metal pieces breaks off, well then we're in trouble. You won't be able to tune that particular key. So there are other kinds of tunings that are happening here. This one here has a cap on it that you turn, and it's a little groove here that goes up and down a little bit, and there's paper inside there to make sure that it's airtight. And over 100 years or so, that paper is going to wear out, and then the humidity and the moisture and the temperature variation. So those paper things need to be replaced on all the pipes. And just to give you a sense here, this pipe, I'm going to pull this out here and just to show you. It all works with air. So just like a clarinet or flute, there's air that is blown in here, and you can see the hole here like a recorder, and that is one note of one pipe. Now, certain ones have wood, and they actually have a reed inside, a wooden reed, so the air, a double reed, like an oboe, and the air was pushed through there. So I'm going to talk about the air a little bit as we take a look inside. While we're here, I'm going to just point out something down here. We're going to get to this in a second, but the organ works on air. Air has to be pushed through the pipes and over the reeds, and this is an air hose, and it comes down here. And somebody over the years has stepped on this a few times. As you can see, these steps are here. So that's going to cost some money to replace that. You can imagine if you took the end of a trumpet and squeezed it, the air is not going to come out as clearly, and so the sound isn't going to be as good. So that right there will improve the sound. And right here is one of a few bellows that keeps the air pressure consistent. So when the air is on, when the motor is on, as it is now, this heavy piece of wood rises up, and the air is pushing this up, and there's springs on the side that create the resistance and the friction, and this is weighted. So the more stops I pull and the more pipes I'm playing on the keyboard, the more air that is required, and so this would tend to go down or go up, and to create the consistent sound. Just like an accordion, you want a consistent push so that the air is consistent and the intonation stays the same and it doesn't get out of tune. So that's one of several. And right here there's leather. This is made of leather, and after many, many years, and the wood and leather is going to age and it's going to wear out. And I'll show you one inside here that's going to be leaking that needs to be replaced. So let's take another look inside here. In here is the other 2/3 of the organ in this small room, and as you can look around, I'll point out a couple of things. These are nice, shiny, new looking pipes right here. That's because these are the Vox Humana stop, and when they were working on the restoration project this summer, they put in this sprinkler pipe right back here, if you can look over here, and they went through this wall and they actually damaged some of these pipes. Don't worry, they paid for it out of their bill, but in the meantime, they paid for us to take these out and clean them and get them all fixed up. So, what we want to do is this clean and polish to all of the pipes, so that they're just like a trumpet. If a trumpet is 80 years old, it's going to need to be cleaned and dusted and all kinds of junk in there. So if you can take a look around the rest of this room, you'll see another bellow here. It's giving the air support for this room. And there's pipes way up high and down below, all different sizes. And some of the really small ones, some of the really big ones. Some of the large, long pipes, they actually had to bend so they fit them all in. Just like you see a tuba is bent around so that it doesn't take up that much space. And up there, above there, to your right, you're going to see those little wooden doors. Those open and shut, and that's what I was talking about earlier when I moved that pedal with my right foot up and down. It opens and closes those doors. That's called the swell. So this is the swell box, so that I make it louder or softer in here by opening and closing those little doors. And next I'm going to take you in to show you where the motor of the organ is and the air supply. So come on this way. Come on in here and I'll show you the motor. As you're walking in that very small opening, you can take a look outside and you can see our new rotary here. We've got the best view in town right here. And if you look up, above us is actually the clock tower. You can't quite see it from here. And if you look down, you'll see our temporary steps, which will be all landscaped and replaced. So on the left here is the motor, an old, very old DC motor. And right here you can see the motor turning around. There used to be a belt on there, and it used to be powered by battery. And then they switched it over and converted it to the AC power that we all have today inside. And then there's the actual motor. The old motor is in the back there on the floor. You can see it from when it was installed in 1928. And so this pushes all the air that goes up through this large pipe. And here's the first bellow. And again with the leather, you can see that there's some cracks in the old leather that's dried out over time and it needs to be replaced. Then the air goes in there and that's where the organ begins. Incidentally, while we're here, you can take a look in this little room. This is where it used to be where the choir would hang their robes. In the old days, the choir would sing from the balcony with the organ, and they would hang their choir robes here. And behind this other door, for a tour for another day, is where you go up to the clock tower and to the bell tower. So that's another tour for another day. One more thing I'll point out here, this big rope. And guess what it's used for? It's used to ring the bell, right? You have to always check what time it is before you ring it. You don't want to ever ring it on the hour. You can pull it from here, you can pull it from down below. You want to try, Glenn? From down below would be better off. Yeah, I think so. Alright, now we're going to head back through the organ and outside. And this is the soundproof door here that we're closing. And as you look at the door, you can see that it's an old door. It's part of the original back wall of the church. And if you can look up and see the molding. So this organ, the original organ that was in the church, didn't go this far. It actually was only in the swell room. That's the original box. So all of that in there was the original pipes, and the rest of it was added on in 1928 and to the organ that we have today. And while you're up here, you can take a look and see these stops. To tune them, you pull these pieces up and down. And again, over the years, the paper and leather that's used to hold the tuning piece in place will age and wear out. That's why our current organ needs to be tuned about 3 times a year in order to keep it really in tune. A good healthy organ will only need to tune up once a year, and it will keep its intonation. So that will save us money in the long run, because an organ tuning is about $150 or $250 depending on the kind of organ you have. So let's head outside again. you won't find too many large organ tuners. As you can see, this small door only fits small people. But here we are. And while we're here, take a look at this bronze plaque. And this is the dedication plaque that the organ, it says, the organ is presented to the North Parish of North Andover as a memorial to Moses Tyler Stevens, 1825 to 1907, and Charlotte Emmeline Osgood Stevens, 1831 to 1906, by their children, Mary Osgood Tyler, and then it lists the other children's names, Nathaniel Stevens, Moses Tyler Stevens, Virginia Stevens Cross, Helen Stevens Lovekin, and the family of Samuel Dale Stevens, 1928. And that about sums up the organ and how it works and what needs to be fixed. A few of the things that need to be fixed I was able to show you. So I hope you understand now that when you hear the organ on Sunday and it sounds okay to you, well, that may be true. And you may have an old car that still runs, but it doesn't mean the old car doesn't need a little TLC, a little fixing up here and there. We don't want to wait for the old car to break down before we bring it to the shop. So we have some money to raise to get this thing going, and we have some really exciting funding that's coming in to help us with that. So we'll be stay tuned for some more information about upcoming fundraising ideas and matching grant funding, things like that. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you Sunday morning.